Welcome to the Teaching Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Hi, I'm Nikki, a passionate special educator, autism advocate, resource creator with over a decade of experience, and you may know me as the face behind Teaching Autism. This podcast is your go-to place for practical tips, hands-on strategies, and inspiring and funny stories to support special educators all around the world, whether it's building independence, creating engaging lessons, or finding that elusive work-life balance. I'm here to help you thrive inside and outside of the classroom. Let's dive into today's episode and make a difference together. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are diving into a topic that I love talking about, and that is visual supports. If you have ever wondered why so many special education classrooms use visuals, or maybe you're looking for ways to implement them, then this episode is for you. Visual supports aren't just helpful. They are complete game changers in the classroom. They can help with communication, with transitions, with behavior management, with instructions, and so much more. And the best part? They are so easy to implement once you know how. So today, we are going to cover the different types of visual supports, how they help with communication, transitions, and even behavior, and simple ways that you can create and use these in your classroom. So before we jump into the benefits, I want to quickly break down what visual supports actually are, especially if maybe you are new to education, or maybe you're a general education teacher wanting to find out more about visuals and use them in your classroom, which I 1000% encourage because everyone benefits from visuals. So visual supports are any kind of visual cue that helps. So let's break down what visual supports actually are. Visual supports are any kind of visual cue that helps a student understand what's happening, what's expected, or how to communicate. And they come in so many different forms. So visual schedules, but visual schedules don't just have to be symbol schedules that show what's happening throughout the day. If you have a student who's not quite ready for symbols, you could use photos, or even you could use 3D objects in place of those symbols until you work your way up for that student to be able to recognize symbols as well. But these daily schedules will show your students what's happening throughout the day. First and then boards are also a great and simple way to help students understand sequencing. First we work, then we play. 3 choice boards, a way for students to select preferred activities or rewards. 4 social stories, short narratives with visuals that will help your students to navigate different situations. 5 visual cues and labels, classroom labels, stop signs, quiet signs, visuals, anything that gives a visual reminder of expectations. And number 6, token boards, a reward system where students earn tokens towards a goal. Each of these serves a different purpose, but together they create a structured, supportive environment where students know what to expect. All right, so now we know what visual supports are, let's talk about why they're so powerful. So they reduce anxiety. Imagine walking into a room where you have no idea what is happening next. That is what a school day can feel like for students who struggle with transitions. Visual schedules create predictability, which lowers anxiety. They also support communication. So for many of our autistic students, they are visual learners, meaning that they understand pictures better than verbal instructions. A bathroom symbol is often easier to recognize than processing the words, "Can I go to the bathroom, please?" They also improve transitions. Transitions are hard. Visual supports like timers, countdown strips, first then boards make moving between activities so much smoother. They also reinforce expectations. So instead of repeating instructions all day, a visual cue can serve as a quick reminder. A quiet hands visual is often more effective than constantly saying, "Please keep your hands to yourself." And they also encourage independence. So when students know what's expected, they can follow routines with less adult prompting. This builds confidence and independence over time. So, as an example, I had a student, Ben, who would get really upset during transitions. Tears, refusal, the whole meltdown cycle. But once we introduced a visual countdown strip, he could see the transition coming, and this completely changed his ability to cope, and transitions became so much smoother for him. It's all about getting to know our students on a bit more of a personal level and seeing what works for them, and then being able to introduce things that will help them to process and cope with different situations. Okay, so now let's talk about how to bring these into your classroom without making it super overwhelming. So here are some easy ways to get started. Number one, start small. You do not need a fully laminated, color-coded, perfect visual system on day one. Begin with one support, maybe a first and then board, maybe a visual schedule, and then build from there. 2, you can use real photos and then simple symbols. So some students respond better to real pictures, while others will prefer symbols. Test both and see what works best for your class. I personally love to use Smarty symbols, and if you scroll way back on this podcast, I actually interviewed the owner and creator of Smarty symbols, and she did a great podcast episode on here. But I use Smarty symbols for everything, and they are mine and my students' favorite symbol system so far. 3, make it portable. Lanyard visuals, mini schedules on desks, binder rings with cues, all of these can help students to access supports wherever they are. 4, pair it with verbal instructions. So visuals don't replace communication. This is a common misconception. They support it. So I always use visuals alongside clear, simple language. And 5, teach and reinforce. A visual will not work if a student doesn't know what it means. So we need to explicitly teach how to use each support and reinforce it consistently. So as an example, one of my students, we're going to call her Ava for this, used to really struggle with morning routines. So what we did was created a simple morning checklist with visuals. So put your backpack away, wash your hands, sit down for breakfast. After a couple of weeks of reinforcement, she could follow that routine all by herself, and she really enjoyed ticking off the tasks as she completed them. So if you take one thing away from this episode today, I want it to be this: visuals work for everyone. Look around you right now, and I can guarantee you will see at least one visual. Whether it's a road sign on your drive into work, whether you're in the grocery store, whether you're looking at an exit sign, a bathroom sign, we are surrounded by visuals. So visuals don't need to only be in special education classrooms. Every student will benefit from visuals. They make learning, communication, and transitions so much easier for everyone. And they make our jobs as educators so much smoother as well. So if this episode was helpful, please share it with a fellow teacher, your team, maybe even a general education teacher who has been wanting to find out more. And if you have any questions or topics that you want me to cover, send them my way. I love hearing from you. All right. That's it for today. Have a great weekend. Look after yourselves, and I will catch you in the next episode.